Welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, what is it, the 20th? Yeah, February 20th already, and we're back from the auction, and everything is good with the roller. It was a parking, as you saw in the last video, it was a parking brake issue, which I had no idea where it was because I didn't have a manual and nobody else could figure it out either. But Bobcat did get me a PDF version, so that was very good. So what I'm doing today is I'm getting back onto David's garage. I'm going to start roofing it because hopefully later on this week the slab will get poured. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my fascia straight, and I've got to cut the gable down to a foot, so I have a foot overhang. The soffit will be a foot there. But the first thing I'm going to do, so that I could square the side, make sure that's square all the way up, is get the front fascia straight, which will require a little bit of tweaking because the 2x6s are definitely not straight. So I'm going to put the top girt on first with a strong back on top of it to get that straight and strong, and then I will put a block accordingly to straighten it out. I don't know, camera usually, it's actually not too bad. That one looks a little bit bowed out, but for the most part it actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it was gonna. But I'm still going to do that because that holds it in place, and that makes it easier to when I do the soffit. So that's what I'm going to get started. So I've got the I got the man basket, as you saw. I've got the man basket on the Kubota, and I got the skid steer out, and I'm going to pick up the roofing with that. So that will make it much easier. So let me get to it. All right, so that's how I straighten it out. Lift up the inch, well, it's about 3/4 off over the purlins, stretch the string down, eyeball it, and put some blocks in order to move it out. So I had to move that out about a 1/2 inch on that one, and the rest of them are pretty good. As I said, you don't want to put it right up against it, you want to leave the space so you don't push it in or out anywhere. So now it's ready to mark and cut the overhang to the 1 foot minus 1.5 inches for the prow rafter that has to go on there. So that's next, but it's windy. It's windy and not too easy to put those sheets up by yourself when it's windy. They're 14-footers. Well, here's a second day that I will not be able to put these roofing panels on. That's a slow wind right there. It actually blew this top sheet all the way over to there while I was doing something else. So that's going to have to go on the back because I'm sure it's got a scratch on it. But I will do something else. I'll keep doing. I still have some more of the girts and blockage that I have to put in here. I have a lot to do inside as well, but I wanted the floor to be done because I don't want to mess it up. I'll have to get the roller back out and just touch it up a little bit because moving the ladder around in there where I had to has made some divots. Not that that really matters, but it'll bother me because I'll know it's under there. So I can't catch a break here. Just another little tip for when you got to do things by yourself. Make sure you have lots of clamps, and that's just one aspect of how I get that board on there without it falling off, because inevitably if you try to do that by yourself with just the bottom block, it will fall off right when you get into position. I don't know how I know that, but it will. So just little tip on what you can do. So without using screws or anything, this one's clamped. I just put a little spacer in just so it's not tight here so that I can move it around, but it won't fall off, because otherwise it will fall off. And then I can go up on that one and put that one across and just nail it. So just a little useless tip that might help you someday. All right, I don't know if you can hear the wind. I do have the wind muff on, but it's still windy. You can see the flag still flying over there. But had a couple of good gusts go on, so there was no way to do the roofing. So I'm doing what I was going to do afterwards, but So there's my V, which is a little different than I did in the shop, just because the rat run is aligned differently. The trusses in the shop, they are actually right underneath each other. So these are offset by 1.5 inches, so they sit on top and then go up, but it does the same thing. And I've got them all straight like that. That also stiffens it, which is what I never see anybody do. So I will do all of these. I've started to do the bottoms, and that one, I don't know what it was. All the lumber that went in this section was really crooked, and it wanted to continue to be crooked. So I replaced a couple of them. I'm actually short one. I didn't have a 14 for those, so I'm going to just, that one I'm just gonna piece on, which would be fine. But yep, so I just figured I'd give an interim on while I'm waiting, and this way I can just roof it all at once. So what are you gonna do? Hopefully I've got to bring the roller back in here and just touch up where I drove on it with the ag tires. They're kind of aggressive. So that's on. So all right, well, I had enough for today. All right, I got my first piece of metal on. I'm fighting the wind again, so I didn't set up the tripod or anything. I was trying to get this done. So what I'm doing is I'm putting one panel at a time on the skid steer, lifting it up and sliding it off, because that's as high as it will go. So I can't lift it above the roof line, so I can't get it up onto the roof, but I can get it close. So when I stand in the basket, it's easy enough. I'm putting a 2x6 on top of it just to keep the wind from blowing it off until I can get up there. And then so far so good with the one. It didn't want to try to blow off or up, so I'll try to get a few more shots if I can of doing it, but that's the premise. The wind's picking up. Why wouldn't it? time it's ever done it. 20, almost 30 hours. The tractor will do it every 5 hours. Doesn't rev up as high as I thought it would. The Kubota wants to rev up to full capacity. Just figures. Got to do it to mess up my video. What else is new? Well, this is all there is to it, really. It's obviously easier if you have somebody to be up on the roof for you. Luckily, the wind has been okay. I haven't had any almost flyaways, so that's a good thing. I shouldn't talk about it though, because I'll make it happen. Just one on the side of every rib. On the ends, I do both sides, just to hold it. But you don't have to do one on each side of every rib. A little overkill. that's how it gets here. Not too exciting, but see, the wind's picking up now again. Just to make it interesting. Only got 2 more after this. Well, really, 14 more if you want to count the other side. There's 12 on each side. So this will be number 9, I believe. This is number 9. And for the fun part, just reaching down for it. Fold it in half like a piece of pizza. All right, here's near the end. I marked it. That's all cut. Ready to roll. So I didn't take any clips of it because I was trying to get it done. But I switched over and used a pallet. Gives me a little more surface area and gives a little bit more stability on it and easier to slide it. So I figured I'd get a shot of that. So if you ever do that, use a pallet. The sun's gonna mess up my view, I'm sure, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna look too good. But anyway, it's on. This will be the last one. All right, well, here's gonna be the end of this video. I did not finish the roof yet, as you can see from the other side. But you can see from the wind and you can hear from the chimes why I can't get that side done, and it will be basically the same as the front. So there's no reason for me to wait and hold up this video, because I want to get the pouring of the floor video up, and actually today I'm going to get on the dozer, but I wanted to get the end of this video up so I can get one on. Wendy and I were away. We took Uncle Greg to Hilton Head and Savannah last week, so that is also why I did not get I didn't get a video up. And I also would have been with Chris when he was getting his dragline buckets, but of course when he comes to South Carolina, I went to Georgia. So all right, well, as usual, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one, and the next one will be the pouring of the floor, unless I stick the dozer video in before it, but I like to try to keep them in order, so we'll see what happens.